As I cross through and I feel the tingle of energy and hear the crackle of electricity. There's a bright light blinding my vision, and I have a flashback of my crossing to Terra. My foot lands on solid ground. I pass the barrier unharmed. Gradually, my eyes adjust to the dim light, and I see that I'm in a cozy room. Oh, hello! Also, you're an elf. Nice hair, by the way. Woo, Firewolf. Okay, cool. In the middle of the room is a fox who switches its tail as he observes me. Beside it is a beautiful woman with flaming red hair. Her delicate hand rests atop the fox's head. As I look her over, her gaze lands on me. Hi, who are you? She just the woman blinks at me, then smiles. For a second, I think I see the flames lighting the room flicker and a warmth permeates my body. It's pleasant, like an embrace. Also, I just noticed your little veil skirt thing here is see-through. Well, okay, why did I... Although she holds my gaze, she doesn't speak. How did you get... Are you stupid? Again, she remains silent, but this time she takes a step closer.
Who are you talking to?
Huh? I peek behind the woman and see Zack standing with an eyebrow raised and his arms crossed. The rest of my companions pause in their inspection of the room and stare at me. Kara stands beside an altar while Amelia and Liana are both kneeling by the fox. Wait, it's a fox? I thought it said it was a wolf. Or am I just dumb? And I could be. Oh no, it is okay, it's a fox. Never mind. The fox focus their attention, rhythmically switching its tail, but otherwise makes no move to respond. Instead, it fixes its attention on me.
Are you talking to the fox?
I mean, it's not as cool as the Wolf of Faerun, but okay. No? The super hot chick. Like, literally, there's flames. Oop, I bumped the... I don't think they can see her. Yeah, no shit! I fall silent as the group casts me worried glances.
Who exactly are you seeing?
There's a woman dressed in red, and she's kind of flamey, and she's standing right there with her pet firefox. Liana looks towards the fox, but her eyes glaze right over the woman. She furrows her brows, concerned.
Okay.
Her voice is gentle, like she doesn't want to spook me. None of you guys can see her. The group collectively shakes their heads. I don't know why you can't see her, but I promise you, she's there. She's hot. Hi. The Pongo hops out from behind my legs. He first examines the woman with partial interest, and then stares in wonder at the fox. The fox cocks his head to the side and observes the Pongo. The Pongo perks up and cautiously bounces forward. He pauses right before the fox. The fox's nose wiggles as it sniffs at the Pongo. Then it switches its tail and the Pongo squeaks before running back behind my legs. What? Wait, you see her too? The woman giggles at the Pongo and gently pats his head. He shivers happily at her touch. She's getting high off the pure magic. Then she straightens up and takes a step closer. Her feet don't touch the ground and her translucent skirt floats ethereally behind her. Instinctively, I back away.
What's going on?
She's getting closer. Lot closer. She pauses once she draws near and touches her palm to my forehead. You're taking my temperature. You're the one that's on fire. Nope, I've got a fever now. A pulse of warmth flows through me before she retracts her hand. As if something inside me clicked open, I feel invigorated with restored strength. The stronger I feel, the more translucent the woman becomes. I'm eating her! Not in the... Never mind. Soon, she disappears. Oh, I just consumed a god. I will accept donations now. The Pongo stares at me with renewed interest. Reminds me of that same look he gave me when we first met. That all I am to you now? Oh, it's food before food now? He licks his lips. I will punt you into the wall, you little blob. Don't even think about it.
Boy.
No! Bad jelly. The Pongo pouts without a sad sigh. Good flan. Kara waves her hand in front of my face. Something else waves too. Hi, what?
Hey,
Are you okay?
Green
you
eyes,
kind
right.
of zoned out there for a second.
Green eyes. Looking at the eyes. I think I'm fine.
What happened?
I am not sure.
Where's the woman now?
How to phrase this? Actually, she's gone. There we go. Safer. Amelia reacts to my words that I'm playing with her bracelets. She holds her manipulator up to me.
Curious. I may have a theory.
Uh-huh. What is it?
All the energy which had accumulated here has now gathered within you.
I blink because it takes me a minute to register what she just said. Wait. I absorb the energy. That can't be right. I'm an idiot.
As I mentioned, it is merely a theory.
And you're probably right, miniskirt. I'm just dumb. Liana looks intrigued.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I felt that after she touched me. Liana's eyes widen.
I wouldn't phrase it like that.
You want to fucking talk! Not in a weird way. This is why I was going inside of and stuff. She just touched my forehead. Suddenly I felt the rush of energy. Amelia stares hard at me. Why are you looking at me like that?
I am merely anticipating the imminent reaction.
What reaction? Reaction to what?
The high concentration of energy you just absorbed. The human body was not meant to process such large quantities of energy.
That's because you've never seen peak male performance before.
At least, that has certainly been the trend with someone from Terra.
Amelia's gaze bores into me as she emphasizes the word Terra, and then she looks back down at her manipulator.
Although, 2 minutes have passed, and there seems to be no sign of an adverse reaction.
Yay, I'm not spontaneously combusting. Why does she sound disappointed? Because she doesn't care. About me. Suddenly, Kara squeals as she gingerly picks up a rusty coin out of the remains of a leather satchel.
This is a genuine Vestin coin!
Hi! Nice to see you're still here. Boing. Zach glances at the coin and folds his arm, clearly unimpressed.
How much could a rusted out dated coin be worth?
That's a dumb question.
About a few hundred gold pieces.
There you go. Zach's demeanor instantly changes.
You don't say.
You know, for a mercenary, you're not very... You know what? No. Kara smoothly pockets the satchel as Zach covertly searches the room. Treasure hunting. This might be worth something getting into. As Kara finishes up her inspection of the room, Liana looks around.
Well, since we found what we came for, we should head back.
Yeah. I collected my first Pokemon. Kara nods and leads the way out. As we leave the room, we notice the fire which had previously glowed in front of the barrier is now gone, but all of our items are still intact. So it was purely just symbolic. Whatever. Hey, nothing was burned in there.
Curious.
If I
Then it can be assumed that the purpose of this trial was not to destroy our possessions, but to test our willingness to sacrifice.
Yeah. I had this morbid curiosity of what would have happened if I'd selected waifu. Would this motherfucker really have pulled out like a picture of an anime character and dropped it into the fire? That happened, I may have had to purge the save file and effectively create a new character. A new me. This one would have to die. Kara happily scoops out her coin purse.
I'm not complaining.
Liana smiles in relief as she reaches in and quickly collects what looks like a ring attached within chain.
Let's keep going.
The rest of us snatch up our items and continue back out of the corridor. The trek out of the temple's a lot faster and easier than the trek in, mostly because there were no more obstacles to stop us. We pop out of the same hidden wall which we entered just as before. The main ceremonial hall is empty. Wave goodbye to the couple of monks sweeping the entryway, then begin the walk back to the village. Ooh, scenery. Yeah, who are the Vestins? I fall in step with Kara. So, who exactly were the Vestins?
They were the original tribe of Ember Mist. and the initial keepers of the fire temple.
Like a Vestal Virgin kind of thing. They build the temple? Kara shrugs.
It depends on who you ask. Some experts believe they did. Others think the temple was already there by the time the Vestins came about.
And just started using it for their own devices. Or in this case, since it's an actual legit fantasy setting, then it would be like they just came along and started worshipping whatever was housed there. Interesting. Now I'm curious. How did you get into treasure hunting? She paused just a little too long before flashing her usual cheerful grin.
I just sort of fell into it, honestly. Treasure hunting naturally fit into my nomadic lifestyle.
By fell into, do you mean like you literally fell into like a crypt or something and were like, ooh, this is worth a lot of money? We just don't know the history to even identify relics.
You'd be surprised how much you pick up along the way, especially after you realize what a lucrative business this can be.
Assuming you're lucky and good enough, well, lucky / talented enough to actually find anything worthwhile. So you're just in it for the money.
I didn't say that. I'll admit that at first I was just in it for the money. But the more I learned about the ancient people of Asaria, the more invested I became in the history of each relic I found.
Okay, assuming you're being honest, I can get behind that.
I started to find myself daydreaming about who might have used the items I found. What kind of person were they? Did they cherish this item, or was it just another piece of their ever-growing collection of stuff?
Burgeoning archaeologist, basically. You're more than meets the eye. That seems like a... That's dumb. You're more than meets the eye. That sounds kind of demeaning. That's a cool way of thinking. Yeah. Never thought about that before. Maybe if you had, I would have paid more attention in history class. Carl looks at me strangely.
Are you a treasure hunter too?
No. No.
But you sought out experts dedicated to history?
Something like that. It was just me seeking out a more of a requirement I had to fulfill, like, curriculum. Carl looks skeptical but doesn't pry. Boop. I approach Amelia. So, that theory that you mentioned at the temple about the woman, what was it, and why were you so eager to see me explode? Amelia glances at me.
Given the location and circumstances previously described by Odorism, my estimation is that the unknown woman you encountered was a projected image of the fire elemental. Of course, as I could not observe her myself, I cannot be certain.
I mean, that's a, yeah, reasonable enough theory to come, hypothesis? Sure, there. Think that's why she wouldn't talk back? Also why she wouldn't just show up in person?
The amount of energy needed to sustain just an appearance of the elemental would have drained the temple completely. There would have been no energy left for her to give to you.
Shitty elemental. That's mean. Is that why she disappeared right after?
The depletion of energy in the temple would have meant she'd no longer be sustained in this world.
What? Amelia looks thoughtful.
Although, it is quite unusual that she would have you absorb the energy to begin with.
I see. No wonder she was so hot. I had a feeling that was her. What? What? I had a stinging suspicion that was her. I mean, who else could it have been? Amelia nods.
It pleases me that you too have reached the same conclusion.
Only because I'm just very, very slow in the uptake. Thanks. She looks thoughtful.
Still, it is quite perplexing that she would only reveal herself to you.
Yeah. Not just me. The Pongos are too, I think. He didn't really make it clear if he was seeing her or just a fox thing.
The Guardian.
That. Huh?
The fox would be the guardian of the fire temple. Each temple has its own guardian who protects it.
Okay. Oh, so how come the Guardian didn't attack us or breaking into the temple?
We did not break in. The guardian enforces the trial in the temple. Only those who are able to complete the trials are welcome into the temple.
Alright. I mean, I assume if you tried something after the fact, it would have reasonably, defend the temple, but in this case, that magical fire we had to put our stuff in. Amelia nods, still deep in thought. You still trying to figure out why no one else can see the elemental? She nods again. Any theories?
As of now, I do not have one, but perhaps after some further research.
Define research. Her voice trails off as she falls back into deep thought. Kara and Zack can immediately lead the way back to Ember Mist while I lag behind. The Pongo sits on my head. Leona notices my absence and falls into step with me. She pats the Pongo, who ignores her, still too focused on the energy around me. Leona pouts and shakes with the Pongo's disregardance of her and focuses her attention on me.
Something on your mind?
Lots. I drop my voice low so you just can't hear me. Now that I've collected the energy from the temple, that means I can try to get a temple rift to go back home, right? Kara stops and whirls around to face us. Zack and Amelia stop with her.
Pardon me, you were speaking very softly and it was a little hard to hear.
Uh-huh.
But it sounded like you just said you need to open a temporal rift to go back home.
If you weren't close enough to get the full... I mean, you basically did, but if you're not close to be certain about it, why the hell shall I confirm that?
But that can't be right, can it?
Jeez, this woman's got some supersonic hearing. I glance at Liana, who looks alarmed. About that. Kara's smile falters my hesitance, but Amelia looks excited.
I knew it. My hypothesis is correct.
Hypothesis? What hypothesis?
My hypothesis that he is from a parallel world.
We stop saying the word hypothesis before it loses all meaning. I mean, it practically already has for me. Liana's eyes grow wide and she forces a panicked smile.
I think all this parallel world and temporal rift talk has been getting to you. I mean, Elder Isum said it's impossible.
He has already admitted it.
What? Liana and I have been careful not to say anything. When?
The day of our acquaintance.
Pardon? I racked my brain, but don't remember bringing that up around Amelia.
You sought out Professor Xavier's guidance, and after he imparted his advice, you and Leona had a brief discussion in which you mentioned that what he had suggested was exactly what happened to you.
Oh my god, you were spying on us too.
Thus began my hypothesis that you arrived from a parallel world.
We stop saying that word now. Leon looks at me unsure how to react. Yeah. Does nobody understand the word privacy around here? You all have a problem with eavesdropping.
It's not eavesdropping if you're speaking loud enough for me to hear.
Do not change the subject at hand.
Fair. Leona sighs.
She already knows.
Yeah.
Not from Terra, huh?
Yep. Zack looks me up and down and nods to himself.
That's a lot better than the alternative.
Just being an idiot. What's the alternative?
That you might be unique.
Shut up.
Zack!
He shrugs.
He didn't even know what a discharger was.
Dude, it's a magic gun.
At least if he's from another world, that explains why he didn't know these things.
A lot more receptive to... Okay, you're not. Kara looks skeptical.
How did he get here?
I woke up.
There have been unexplainably high concentrations of energy popping up throughout Isaria, and he happened to show up at one of those areas. We went to the Mage Academy to get some answers, and that's how we came up with the possibility that the high energy readings were temporal rifts, and somehow he had traveled through one. Why or how those rifts were even opened, we still don't know.
But if they're the only way for me to get back home, then I have to try to open one. Kara shrugs.
Let's just make sure you attempt to open one far away from where I'm standing.
It's really the equivalent of, like, we don't know what's in it. Well, I mean, if you... Then again, haven't they been saying that temporal rifts are more like a theory? They don't really have any proof they actually happen. I don't remember if... Wait. The possibility of reading word temporal rifts. Okay, yeah, so it's not like they confirmed their word temporal rifts, but it's more... Yeah, okay. So, in this case, it's all theoretical and could be like the equivalent of, you know, when they were testing atomic bombs, and we're like, this could just... You know, if we split an atom, set off a nuclear reaction in our own biosphere, we may just ignite the whole planet. Could this be the magical equivalent of that, you know, from their perspective? The amount of energy needed to basically tear open a hole in the fabric of reality could just cause one big magical nuclear explosion.
That might be tricky considering no one knows how to open one.
Yeah.
We may need to talk to Elder Isum.
That won't be necessary. I know how to do so already.
Okay, how? We all stare at her. How do you know that?
The directions are located in Elder Ism's old research notes, which I had gathered from the Academy. The spell itself is a simple conjuration, which even an amateur could do.
But let me guess, it's extraordinarily dangerous, and even if you manage to have enough power to do it, it could potentially cause mass devastation or something. An amateur can open a temple rift, then why isn't everyone doing it?
The impossibility of the spell comes from the fact that the human body cannot manipulate the amount of energy needed for it.
Or that, yeah, okay. She pauses and points to me.
He may be an exception.
I'm an exception to a lot of things, just using it in good ways. I squirm slightly as their gazes fall on me.
Given that you have absorbed energy directly from the temple, which should also be an impossibility, I must assume that there is something within you which can possess the high amount of magic without suffering consequences.
One must have stamina. No.
Perhaps it is a skill which you acquired from your world.
My world doesn't have magic. Amelia blinks.
Regardless, only a short amount of time has passed. There is plenty of time for you to still internally combust.
Well, at least you're still holding out for that. You got a positive streak in you. Give you that. A wave from my knees makes my stomach queasy. Maybe I should open up this rift now before that has a chance to happen. Amelia grins with excitement.
I concur with that suggestion.
You just want to see me do it. It doesn't really matter what it is. You want me to either open the rift or blow up.
That may be the best now that you have the magic.
Assuming that I can. Ugh. Zack shrugs and Carl takes a look at our open surroundings.
Maybe we should first look for a spot with a bit more cover. We don't want to be opening up rifts on an open pathway.
Good point.
There was some tree cover towards the west.
We mumble our affirmations and follow Zack toward the trees. We settle into the grove of trees. Both Leon and Amelia stand on either side of me. Zack selects a tree far enough away to not be affected by any stray magic, but close enough to get a good view of what's going on. Carl, on the other hand, hangs back towards the outskirts of the trees. Yeah, okay. Zack looks back at her, an amused smile on his lips.
You'll miss the show from back there. You sure you don't want to come any closer?
Are you propositioning her? Kara's voice is distant.
Yep.
It's a bit of movement and shakes on a step back behind a tree. There's no way she can see anything from there. I can barely see her. I take a few steps closer to Kara.
Stop right there.
You can't see anything from there.
On the contrary, I can see all I need from here.
She can at least see if other people will stumble upon us from there.
Oh, yeah, a lookout. That's exactly what I meant.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with her wanting to stay out of the splash zone.
Yeah. Lana furrows her brow.
Temporal rifts don't splash.
I might. I'm very wet on the inside. Humans tend to be, you know.
No, but people do.
Yeah.
Zack!
Oh, my sweet summer child. He looks innocent.
What?
Yeah, he's right. Lana frowns. Basically just red water balloons. Amelia studies the notes, then nods to herself and snaps the book shut.
The casting is quite simple. It is the same technique as any other cast.
Okay, but I don't know any magic, so explain. Leona looks at me.
Are you ready?
Can someone tell me what I'm doing? I nod. Okay. Amelia glances at my stance and frowns.
Your stance is incorrect. Straighten your spine.
Yeah, I need a thorough explanation of what I need to do and how I need to do it because, A, that's the best way I learned such things, and 2, I know nothing about casting magic. I lengthen my spine and stand as straight as I can. Ow, my back!
Now you are too tense. Keep yourself relaxed, but do not slump.
Okay. I release some of the tension on my back. She's about to speak again, but Liana gently pulls Amelia to the side.
Okay, I think he gets it.
She steps in front of me and gives me an encouraging smile.
Your stance is fine. Just remember to raise your arms in front of you.
I do what she says and she nods.
Now, the actual casting part is gonna sound tricky. You'll need to focus your mind on the spell you want to cast.
Okay. So I should just think about temporal rifts? Probably more like specifically opening a rift to your world. Not just a rift which could lead anywhere.
Yes, but you need to connect that thought with the magical energy.
How?
Clear your mind of every thought.
Oh, that's impossible. I close my eyes and push away all my doubts and confusion and focusing on his voice.
Now, think about the rift that you wish to create.
I imagine tearing a hole in the fabric of reality. I don't actually know what a rift would look or feel like. All I remember is that bright light. Should I focus on the light?
At the same time, sense for the magic within you.
I try to sense for any kind of magic, but nothing feels out of the ordinary. I don't know where the magic is. Is it like that singing from diaphragm kind of thing? Because I don't know how to do that either.
It'll feel like a tendril or willing warmth. When you find it, reach out for it and grab hold. The magic is eager to be used and will latch on.
I don't like the sound of that. No, worse, that. This is so abstract, but I know I can do it. I just have to focus. Good luck. I turn within and regulate my breathing. Sounds very similar to meditation. Never been good at that. So perhaps using the same technique will yield success? As my breathing becomes slow and steady, I open my eyes and open my senses for any indication of another presence.
Once you find the magic, connect your thoughts of the rift with the magic, and then channel both the magic and the thoughts through your hands to cast it in the open.
I continue sensing, hoping to find even a hint of warmth. But how do I know if it's just my own warmth in the magic? Sweat beads on my temples as I strain to cast, but nothing happens. Eventually, my arms grow weary and my mind is exhausted. I decompress with a sigh. It didn't work.
It's okay, we can try again. People aren't usually able to cast on their first try.
I mentally groan. The idea of doing all that again does not thrill me. There must still be something I'm missing.
It just takes some getting used to. Plus, you're trying to cast without a manipulator.
Oh, yeah, both you and Amelia used Manipulator as a cast. Maybe that's why I wasn't able to do it?
Well, the manipulator's function is to house the energy source for us to cast with. Technically, because you already have the energy within you, you shouldn't need a manipulator.
Oh, it's like a portable battery kind of thing. Okay. Oh.
But this is all theory anyway. It may be easier trying to cast using a crystal, especially for a first-time caster.
This like what a fucking arcane focus kind of thing. Maybe I should get a wand. You know, the whole thing, or a staff or something. The whole thing, if you're casting a spell, what do you want to blow up? Your hand or the wand you're holding? Oh,
Regardless, there could be a multitude of factors for why this attempt was not successful. One for which could be as simple as the fact that you still did not possess enough energy to open the rift.
There are, like, what? They're either spirits and then shadow magic? Shouldn't the temple have had enough? We don't know.
Theoretically, perhaps. But a significant portion of the energy was already being used to sustain the elemental's image. She was able to transfer what was left of the energy to you, which from my readings was only 20% of the total energy in the temple when we started.
Suddenly a car is standing right beside us, as cheerful as ever.
That sounds like you all still need to explore some more temples.
Hi. I jump at her presence. Even Leon and Amelia seem surprised to see her so close. Only Zach is unaffected. How did you get here so fast? She grins at me.
Am I wrong?
Don't avoid my question. Very good timing with the Pongo sound effect there. The Pongo jumps out of Kara's arms and hops into mine.
Boy!
Hi. I pat him on the head and he wiggles contentedly, licking the air around me. Stop
So
that.
it could be that he doesn't know how to cast, or that he doesn't have enough energy.
It's both, I think.
Sure, but what does that mean for you all in terms of next steps? Are you going to hang out in Ember Mist until he learns how to cast?
Always on the road, apparently don't have energy, so everything goes on happens anyway, so we just two birds, one stone.
It could take him weeks before he can even cast the simplest of spells.
Mm-hmm.
That is quite a long time to rely on someone else's hospitality.
Oh, that too, yeah. Ugh.
It sounds like it would still be in your best interest to visit at least one more temple just to be sure you have enough energy. You can teach him how to cast on the way, so by the time he gets there, he'll be ready to go.
Yes, it is a very sensible suggestion. I did say practically the same thing myself, so yeah, good, but again, I think your motives are a bit on the ulterior side. Liana looks thoughtful. She doesn't look suspicious.
That does seem like the better option than the alternative.
If it's the fastest way to getting back home, I'm not opposed to having all our bases covered. Amelia nods.
That is the most efficient course of action. If we can mitigate any uncertain factors, then we can pinpoint where the weakness is and adjust accordingly for a successful cast.
The weakness is just me in general, but
The research this will provide will be very informative.
she also wants to study me. I also need to just poke myself in the eye. Hearing Amelia's affirmation, Zack shrugs.
Since I'm here to protect Amelia, I go where she goes.
Kara smiles broadly and slings her arms around Zack and Amelia, much to their dismay.
Great. Then our arrangement is still on.
Hey!
Zack moves out of Kara's grasp. She smirks.
Most men would be thrilled to have a pretty woman hug them.
True.
Right, Amelia?
That is correct. A healthy physique is inherently attractive for potential mates.
Oh my god. Kara lets go and starts to lead the way out of the forest.
We should spend the night in Umber Mist. We can plan our next steps there.
And talk about potential mates is along the way. Or not, you know, whichever. God. Why? Why? Why must you... Once we're in agreement, we follow Kara back to Ember Mist.